All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Up and In Show. We are here at Cards and Culture, on the Purple Couch. It's been a minute because the Purple Couch wasn't here for a second, so there was a couple other couches in play.
What other colors did we have?
We had a gold couch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Purple
And I told
gold.
you,
That
it
tracks,
plays,
that
right?
tracks.
Yeah. But yeah, I was kind of telling you before we flipped on the cameras, is like we've been in multiple spots, so this feels like home. I'm back, people. Mm-hmm. It feels good. And I have a special guest. Rivers Hughey, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and I'm excited to kind of talk everything from mental, physical health, the things that you do the day to day, but also just being a super mom and just I just, again, right, my show is all about athletes, entrepreneurs, entertainers, people that are performing at a high level, and I'm excited to dive into your day to day, the things you do, all the things you do, how you do it, juggle it, and perform at a high level. So thank you for the time. I appreciate
no problem. We were talking about this. I'm used to being behind the cameras, behind the not behind the mic, and so this is a little different for me.
Yeah, you're in sports media too. Everything. Yeah, we're gonna pull out and get you comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's gonna be incredible.
I know. I'm as a fitness instructor, I'm always saying that to people,
exactly.
and I'm like, do as I say, not as I do.
Now you're practicing what you preach right now. This is gonna be great. No, it's gonna be good. You know how to do this. I think it's way more fun just being able to be chill and just get the questions asked to you. Now you just gotta answer them.
Yeah.
It's great. You don't have to
do anything.
You don't have to think. Yeah. Before we get started, though, I have to show some love to our special sponsors that allow us to make these shows possible. Rejuve Me Medical. Appreciate you guys, everything that they do. If you guys don't know, they are all over the state of Louisiana and specialize in anti-aging stuff and keeping you young, healthy, hormone replacement, skin care, all that good stuff. They're incredible people. They take care of us, make us look young, feel good, have energy to do the things we do and perform at the levels that we do. And then Fresh Chef Kitchen, Baton Rouge. Meal plan, bulk meals for people that perform at a high level and do a lot of things and are on the run. They're incredible. Whether you guys are planning your meals, they have locations where you can pick up on airline or you can get your bulk meals over in Industrial Plex as well. They're incredible. The meals taste great, great branding, awesome people, and they obviously support us and allow us to do the things we do. So wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. Appreciate y'all. But Rivers, we're diving in. All right. Tell me about yourself. Where are you from originally?
I am originally.
We're going to start easy.
Easy. Okay? I know you're easing me in. We're in the shallow end here.
Just an alley-oop.
I am from Starkville, Mississippi, which is, I tell people that, and the biggest response is like, oh, I didn't know people were like from there. But
like,
I am.
But
people know I'm a Mississippi State fan, and people know that about me.
Yeah.
But they rarely know that I'm actually from Starkville.
Wow,
so I grew up there.
You're one of like the 18 people that like
have
lived there.
truly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's it's wild. I think there's like 17,000, maybe 18,000 students in Mississippi State now, and I mean that's more than live in the rest of the city.
Absolutely.
So
that's cool. I didn't know you were actually from there.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me feel like that now I can tolerate the Mississippi State.
Yes. I mean, look, I had no other shot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You had to. Yeah, that's
yes.
good. Okay, well, we can swallow that a little bit now. But you're always like saying like you were like, why did they pull you on the mic? And that's, I mean, you have a big target on your back. Like, bring the Mississippi State fan on. Like, that's not a way to stay behind the mics. Yeah.
Well, but I will say I do appreciate them. They definitely give me Mississippi State voice in a very tiger heavy area.
Yes, absolutely.
So they let me do my thing.
Very cool. All right, so from Starkville, grew up there. How'd you end up in Louisiana?
So I went to Mississippi State and I met my husband in college.
Okay.
And he got hired by ExxonMobil in Baton Rouge right out of college.
Nice. He's also from Mississippi?
Yes, he is from Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
So we're both from there. He moved here a year before me, and then we got married and I moved here, and we thought we would be here for a few years max.
Yeah.
And now in July it'll be 15 years.
Wow. Yeah, that was like me. I came here when I was 17. I turned 35 this year. I'm like, yep, still here. Yeah.
Yep. And I don't know. I grew up going to a lot of SEC football games. My dad loved sports. And so I had spent a lot of time in Baton Rouge because he would bring me to LSU football games. But for whatever reason, Baton Rouge was not a place I wanted to live. I was I don't even want to buy a house when we get there. Let's just be an apartment and then we'll figure out our next move, and then I get here. And honestly, like I love Baton Rouge so much. I can't imagine being anywhere else. And now we have reached a point where I'm like, this is it. This is it.
Yeah,
for
this
us.
is where we live. Yeah. That's like the SpongeBob 15 years later. And you're like,
well,
we're happy.
I wonder that, like, how long are you in a place before it's the place you're from?
Yeah.
Like I say I'm from Starkville, but like am I? I mean,
know.
or am I from Baton Rouge, you know?
My mom says that to me all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, now if you think about it, math-wise, I've been here 18 years. I spent 17 in Jersey. It's like, am I from here?
This is
now?
this is where you're
I'm like,
from.
it's interesting. Yeah, interesting verbiage. But I always say I'm from Jersey, but I live.
Yes.
I'm a Louisiana
I do the
person
same
now.
thing.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Well,
Very
and
cool.
Louisiana
Okay.
and Mississippi aren't as different as
Very true.
Jersey
It was
and
very
Louisiana.
much and my mom calls me a Southern boy. That's
Yeah.
she's like, yo, that's
Do you
Southern.
feel like a Southern boy?
No, I don't. I don't feel like I identify similarly as Southern. I would say majority Southern men.
Yes.
Let's just say majority.
Yes.
But
You don't have the accent.
no, I don't have that. But my mom thinks I do.
Well, I was about to say, do you think that your Jersey accent softened, and so now you're somewhere in the middle?
1,000%.
And so to us, you don't sound Southern, but to them,
correct.
you don't
I
sound
don't.
like,
Correct. Yeah. So now I'm just in the middle. Now I'm just weird. Now I don't
Yeah.
fit in anywhere. Now I'm just alone.
That's
no one.
probably good. You have a very normal
Yeah.
voice now.
Yeah, but no one will claim me. That sucks. Sucks. Now I'm just on my own. But no, I love it here. That's it. But Louisiana does that, and it has that ability to kind of suck you in and stuff. So, do you have any part of purple and gold in you that you like now?
That's a tough question. No, that's a tough question.
A little bit.
Yes, definitely. Especially having worked for ESPN Baton Rouge, I had to spend so much time with different players and coaches and people in the athletic department, and I've created these relationships, and so it's really hard for me not to cheer those people on.
Yeah.
So overall, do I want LSU to win? No, probably not. But I do find myself cheering for specific athletes and the program. It's hard not to.
That makes sense. And all kidding aside, right? That is why we're here.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's the people, and that's why I stayed here, right? And so you want good people to do good things.
For sure.
And
Well,
so,
I think right when I had started there, I had 2 interns. And it was Will Clapp and DJ Chark. And that was my first experience with that, because I had just started working there and spending time up there, and I was like, ugh, LSU, And then these guys come in and they're so sweet and they're helping me and they're around all the time.
Awesome.
And then I'm watching them on TV and I can't not cheer for them, they're my guys.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
so that was kind of my first experience with that, and then it just grew and grew the more time I spent with the program.
Makes sense. Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. So what year was that? I'm trying to do some math.
Gosh, I think it was pre-COVID. I think 2017, 16, something around there. Yeah.
And so is your background in media? Is that what you studied in school?
Kind of. So I studied PR with a minor in broadcasting.
Okay.
But I never really expected to use the broadcasting piece. It was just you got to take a fun TV class, which I think back now, when that TV class, when we took it, I had to check out one of those giant, it was like a VHS. And I'm not that old. This was not great technology. I'm
carried it on your shoulders.
Yes, you have to
thing?
set it up, and then to go,
God,
I had to cut film to edit my stuff. And I'm how impractical. I couldn't have even used that if
Skill
I
set.
wanted to.
Exactly.
That skill set does not exist anymore. And again, I'm not that old.
Right.
We had digital stuff going on when I was
know.
in college, but I was kind of right there at the edge of it. So I was I couldn't have used that anyways. But I did have a minor in broadcasting.
Nice.
But the bulk of my work was PR, and that is what I intended to do when I graduated.
Gotcha.
And then,
Yeah. And then you got here, so moved here with the husband. And then how did that parlay into?
So I
ESPN?
moved here, and in my mind, you go to college and you get this degree, and you're that's what I'm going to do.
Exactly.
I have 4 years, I studied this, I did this, and so I got here, and my first job out of college, I was in marketing for a full service law firm.
Okay.
And I was only there for a year.
Yeah.
It was not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
It was pretty high level, and it was pretty go. You're working with attorneys. They don't sleep.
Yeah.
And it's full service, so you're working in
attorneys advertise a little bit too, right? Just a little bit of marketing.
What I was doing was I was putting together this pitch material for these attorneys to take to companies, to big, real estate firms and whatever, and to represent them. But I'm working all night, and I'm this is not. And to be quite frank, my boss was not a great boss. And so that was an interesting experience for me, because it was my first job out of college.
Yeah.
And I'd worked my whole life, but I had done jobs I'd worked, at restaurants or gift shops, and I wasn't in an industry job. And I just expected anyone who was above me to know exactly what they were doing and to be the best, be better than me at what they were doing. And that was not my experience. Wow. And so I was there for a year and I was just like, this isn't it. Yeah. This isn't it. And so I quit. And then I was like, no, what do I do? Like, I hate the thing that I'm supposed to do. Yeah. So that was a weird experience.
Yeah, I would imagine. You know. And did you play sports growing up? Like, is that in your background, family?
I did. Siblings, I mean, I'm generally athletic. Okay. Yeah. But no, I was not. I didn't play sports. That's not really how I ended up there. In fact, I took a lot of steps between the PR thing. Oh no, that's fine. Popular guy. Oh,
that was on loud. That's embarrassing.
I took a lot of steps between not knowing what I was going to do and then ending up in a place where I was like, this is it.
Gotcha.
It took a while. Yeah. But then I kind of landed there. Once you don't know what you're going to do, it's like, you don't know what you're going to do. And so I think it was like the best possible thing that could have ever happened though, because instead of putting myself in this box of like, I'm going to do marketing and PR, I just kind of started saying yes to every single opportunity that popped up. Like I worked at Lululemon for a little while, which was really great. And that is kind of how I got into the fitness world. So now I've been teaching fitness for 10 plus years. No matter what I was doing otherwise in my life, like that was also something that I was doing. Yeah. And then I was a marketing director for a craft brewery. I was a marketing director for a boutique fitness studio. I blogged for different magazines in town. I know. I mean, I truly, if someone asked me if I wanted to do it, even if I didn't know what I was doing, I was like, yes, now, figure it out later. Yeah. You know, and that was a really like a growing time for me. My 20s was it was a little spirally and it was a little chaotic.
Most 20s are for people. Yeah.
But it was a really fun and interesting time. And there were some things I did that I was like, nope, this isn't it. Yeah. And there were some things that I did where I was like, this isn't it, but I can see where my strengths are in this. And so how can I carry that to the next thing that I'm going to do? And so in every place that I went, whether it was Tin Roof, the craft brewery, or Shred BR when it was open, I was their marketing person. Every place I went, I just made connections. Yeah. And that's how the next opportunity happened. And so that is kind of how the radio happened for me. Is that I was at Tin Roof and I was working with ESPN to do happy hours, I just got to know the crew there, and they were looking to bring in a female voice. Yeah. And I kind of just offhandedly made a joke. I was like, look, if you want to bring in a female who knows a mediocre amount about sports, but is not afraid to talk in front of people, I'm your girl, you know, and I didn't think about it. And like a week later, I got a text message. It was like, hey, do you want to be on the radio?
Oh my God.
And so that's kind of how I landed there. And it was a long process, but in that job working there, I feel like I sort of blossomed into like the person that I was supposed to be. I was like finally in a job where I was like, wow.
Yes, this is fun. I get paid to do this.
Yes, and so I'm not doing PR, and I'm kind of doing broadcasting, and I'm doing a lot of other things that I didn't plan on doing in my life. But
that's also 2024 though, and I feel like most people, right? Like, and this is why I enjoy my podcast and getting a chance to sit down with people like you, is because that mindset is, to me, an evolved growth mindset, right? You weren't caught up in getting, hey, this is my degree, this is the lane that I stay in, this is what I know, right? This is the only thing that I can do in life. Yeah. And it's led you to meeting so many great people. Oh, wow. You always seem happy. And again, right, there's definitely, you're not always happy.
For sure.
Right? That's the way life goes. Yes. But it seems like when you show up places, you have great energy. You seem like you're intending to be there. Yeah. And that sends a message to people of like, I don't know. And so like that's really cool to hear that it stemmed from just trying different things and being like, I don't really know.
It's just being open to saying yes to things. And now I'm in a point in my life where I'm like, okay, maybe I need to be more of a no person.
Then you pull back a little bit.
More of a no person, which is not my vibe. Like I'm always like, yes. And
that's a skill set too, to say no. Yeah.
I know. I'm like having to learn that now. And I'm such an empath that like, I am always picking up on other people's energy. And so like, one of my favorite things, and I think one of my biggest strengths is connecting people. And So when I'm having a conversation with somebody, I want to always figure out like, what's your passion? What is it that you're into? Like, what do you want to do that you're not doing?
Right.
And then immediately, like, they're passionate about it, you know, and they're
You can
excited. And so
feel
then
it,
I'm like, oh my God, okay,
Right.
who am I? Who do I know?
Yeah.
Whose phone number can I send you? How can I connect you to that person? If you don't feel like you know enough to do the thing, how can I help
Right.
you know more? Like, and so I'm a yes person, but I'm learning to say no. I'm learning. Motherhood has certainly taught me the word no.
I feel like yes. Yeah, I was gonna say if you said yes all the time as a mom, your life would be. I don't know.
I feel like all I say to
my
my kids is no. You know, so whether they hear it or not,
right? That's a different story.
you know.
Yes.
But
yeah.
they're teaching me to say no.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like being open, and I think that's an our generation thing too.
Yes.
We don't feel as much pressure to commit to the thing and then just stay in the thing because we committed to it. And it's not that we're quitting on people or we're not following through, but it's like being able to acknowledge like what we need to succeed as a person.
Right. I think we've valued, or we have changed as a society what we value, right?
Yeah.
And back in, when I was growing up, it was still taught like the successful life is this, and this,
Yes.
right? And so I think we've just rebranded what success looks like over the last 20, 30 years, right?
100%.
Yeah. So, and it looks in different shapes and
Yes.
forms and all of that, and everybody can find success in different ways. And technology has allowed us to make money in different avenues,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So now it's changing the perception to be like,
Yes.
oh, that's cool, that's good, do your thing,
Well,
like,
and
have fun.
two, I think, I don't know, I think we're almost coming out on the other side of some of that, because I feel like there was like our parents' generation that was like my parents have worked at the same place for their whole lives.
Exactly.
Like, but they
That's
love
all-
it, and that's what they do. And
that's
like,
what they know.
or maybe they love it. Who knows? You know, like they were told this is what you do, and so they did it. And then, at probably our age, we came into this place where we were like hustle, 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 like, girl bossing all over the place, girl bossing too close to the sun sometimes, like, oh, wow, what did I just commit to? Like, sorry, I don't know if I can do that, and I think that there is a generation below us that is like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
They're like, ooh, I saw you girl boss too close to the
Right.
sun, and I don't want to do that, but I do want to do the things I love. So they're finding ways to find better balance in their life, which is cool, you know?
And that's what one of the things Abby was like, I think what I would love to hear because I was asking her, I was like, as a consumer, what would you like to hear from this episode? And she was like, honestly, balance, ask her how she balances life, because that is so interesting in 2024, right? The phones, kids, attention, all that people want you to do things. You want to do things, FOMO, right? So
look,
yeah.
if there's something your girl lives with, it is FOMO.
Nice healthy dose of FOMO.
It's not even healthy. It's just
yeah,
constant.
a nice unhealthy dose of FOMO.
I kept thinking the older I got, the less my FOMO would be, and it just hasn't happened. I will say though, as I've gotten older, I've just had to say I'm going to have to live with my FOMO sometimes, and I'm just going to have to stay in bed, and I'm going to have to not do the thing or whatever. I'm going to have to say no.
Yeah, you just accept it.
But it still exists.
I started
there.
flipping things on the other way, and I'm calling it JOMO.
Yes.
The joy of missing out,
Yeah.
and that way I just convince myself, no, I'm happier being here.
Yes.
And sometimes I really am, and sometimes it's just the thought that I want to be somewhere else, but I'm actually more happy.
What are those
being
people
here.
doing at that thing?
Right.
Oh,
It's more the
are
curiosity.
They having so much fun without me?
Right,
Like
right.
what? And then you get to the thing, and no one's having fun,
Exactly,
or they
yeah.
are, but it's not.
Or
like,
you regret. You're like, actually, I just want to go
I
home.
just see.
right?
I see you people all the time. What am I doing here?
So I joke that I flip it, but I really do flip it. And like I joke that I'm like, I have JOMO. Like I have the joy of missing out tonight, because actually I'm doing something different. And this is actually what I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
But society told me this is what I should be doing.
Yes.
And so instead I'm hanging out here.
For
and
sure.
doing
Well,
this, so.
I guess it was last weekend. I'm like, now time passes in such a strange way when I have children. So I'm like, was it last month? Was it last week? Last weekend.
I saw that it was the 21st, or I don't even know, yesterday. But
I know,
I'm like,
isn't
why?
that wild?
How? I'm like, when?
The Ole Miss LSU game. So we knew a bunch of people coming in town to like tailgate, and all of our friends were out there. And my husband was like, do you want to go tailgate? And we are big tailgaters. We love tailgating. I have grown up tailgating. My kids, we take them out there, and we have fun, and I love it. And I was just like, you know what? We have done so much stuff leading up to this weekend, and we have so many things planned through October and November. Like, what if?
Hear me
I
out.
just sat on the couch and watched the football on the TV, you know,
Crazy
and
idea.
just scrolled Twitter and
Yep.
watched and just hung out here, you
Yep.
know. And he was like, "Are you okay?
Yeah.
Like,
What?
do you have?
Are you?
Are you hot?
Yeah.
Are you? You know?"
That's
I
incredible.
and
And
you
did
know
you do
what?
it?
I did,
Oh
and
my
it was
God.
the joy of missing out.
Let's
I
go.
knew that there were a lot of people out there that I wanted to
Yes.
see, but also I was like,
Yeah.
that doesn't seem more fun than this couch right now.
Yeah.
And so that was my first real like
It's good.
dip in the jomo pool. But I don't know if that's
love
where
it.
I'll live,
Right.
but I am.
It's nice to take a dip every now and then.
Every
That's
now
good.
and
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's why so Saturdays and Sundays are my biggest days
Yeah,
here, right? So
yeah.
I had to like and I really do enjoy hustling and
Yes,
working and stuff, but
yes.
that's where I had to like do some work to be like, okay, yep, this I want to, and I did want to be here, but I had to like focus on the good of like, see, like if I was at the game today or if I was doing this, I wouldn't have had this.
You
So
wouldn't have
now
that.
I got to focus on this
Yep.
gratitude moment, right? So it's just reframing things in your
Yes,
head
absolutely.
and like, and having a different.
I tell people that
perspective.
in fitness classes all the time. I'm
Yeah.
like, let's just reframe this. I was like, you're getting to do this. You don't have to do it, which, you know, sometimes it feels like you have to do it, but it helps to reframe.
And it is very, very, and we're joking a lot, but this is, I think, really helpful to people. And what my show is about, right, is those little reframing moments are what allow people to go perform at that top level,
Absolutely.
right? Allows you to push through in a moment of a
100%.
workout or
Absolutely.
anything. Yeah.
When I'm on a treadmill, I'm like, if I'm not reframing,
There's
then
a
we are
lot
in
of
trouble.
reframing.
We are in trouble.
Every step is a reframe. Yes. Yeah, literally.
Every single, like one more step.
Yes.
One more step. And that's all it is. It's like, it's one more rep or it's one
Yep,
more step and you just
exactly.
keep moving. Yeah.
So talk to me about that, right? So we talk about balance, talk about doing a lot of different things, being in a lot of different industries, juggling and wearing a lot of different hats. Talk to me about how physical fitness has been that avenue. You said it's always been there in your life, no matter what you do. Now it's something that you do regularly, you get paid to do, you instruct, you influence. So talk to me how important that is to your overall health, your well-being.
Yeah.
all of that.
Oh my gosh. I mean, if I didn't have that time during my day, during my week, like I would be a completely different person. And not even just for me, not even just the physical part of it. For me, and what has kept me in the industry for so long is it's like, especially as an instructor, it's about more than that. Like I get to go into this space and these people come and they trust me to make them feel better, whether it's physically or mentally. And then they leave me, like that's always my goal is like when you leave me, like obviously, you know, you're not going to be 100% stronger after one class, but like
right.
when you walk out of that door, I want you to feel a sense of just like better. I want you to feel more yourself, more relaxed, more in tune with your body. And when I see people that makes people happy. You know, they're not realizing that it's happening when it's happening, but like I can see it.
Absolutely.
And it brings me so much joy. And I know that's cheesy, but like, oh my gosh, it makes me so happy to like see people happy leaving.
Yeah.
And then like people will come and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I just, you know, I was going to this like hectic meeting like right after my workout and like I just felt so much calmer going into it. Or, you know, like I've been taking Pilates for X amount of weeks and like I can feel myself getting stronger. I can hold that plank for longer.
Yep.
Like that brings me so much joy. And so, yes, like being a part of it and moving my body makes me feel good
Yeah.
and relaxes me. But knowing that I'm impacting other people is like what it is.
Absolutely. You know? And that's, I mean, I have F45, right? But it's kind of the ethos of every business that I want to invest in, whether it's my time, whether it's my money, whether it's my network, right? I really only want to do stuff that's going to bring people joy and connect me with them and have meaningful time, right? Like,
well, it's like that. It's that. I think I was watching like a TED Talk one time and the person was talking about how it's serve before you sell. And I feel like you said, that applies to anything. It doesn't have to be like a specific business. It can apply to me as a fitness instructor.
Absolutely.
Like I'm serving you and you feel good and I'm doing it for the right reasons. And so then other people are coming in because they want to do it. So you're selling, you know, and it kind of all ties together.
it's beautiful. And
Yeah.
that's why people are like, what do you do for marketing? And I'm like, honestly, I try to give people a great experience.
Yes, yes.
100%.
100%.
Because to me, that is the best marketing, right? Like, I mean, yes, you can go put your stuff on a billboard and do all that, right? But honestly, like, it starts on the ground, and it starts with the
Absolutely.
people's experience.
Absolutely. And so that's interesting for me. So one thing I really like to do is community events. And so I work at a fitness studio that lets me kind of like, when I have an idea and I'm like, hey, I just want to go teach these free classes. They're like, okay. And so I did this, and I'm currently doing it right now in October, but I just, every couple months I'll do a series of sunrise Pilates classes. And that's not typically something that we offer at our studio. Our Pilates classes are a little more athletic, a little more fast moving, but I like to really slow it down. And so you get these people that don't normally come to the studio. They come to these free classes because they're free.
Yeah.
And it's sunrise. It's beautiful. And I offer them this experience. Like, and I love when I'm teaching, I'm a talker, you know, and I'm like a motivator, and that's the kind of instructor that I am. And, you know, and like I like try to talk through things with people. And usually it's whatever I have going on in my life. I'm like, what am I struggling with? What am I dealing with?
Yeah.
I'm gonna use this as therapy.
Yeah.
And I also think music is very powerful. So every time I
Absolutely.
teach a class, my playlist is curated. Like I plan things like that. And
Love
so
it.
I want them to have this experience with me.
Absolutely.
And so I've had so many times where people have come to these classes who don't come to the studio already. They come to this class because it's free and their friend drugged them or whatever, you know. And then they've ended up coming to see me at the studio, and they're like, it's because you said this one thing, or you did this one thing, or you pushed me to do that extra rep, or whatever. And like,
It's crazy, that little connection
serve
point
to
or-
sell, you know.
Exactly.
And so for me, it is about the service, but
Absolutely.
it just translates into the selling as well.
And so something, and again, I'm not sitting here talking about religion or viewpoints or whatever, but I've studied and read about a lot of different religions or viewpoints and beliefs, right? And in Buddhism, one of the like things to live by to enjoy your life and have the most joyous life possible is earn a living in a healthy way that brings people joy, right?
Yeah.
And that, I was like, that's so simple,
simple.
right?
So
It's so simple, but it's like, if you're going to earn money, and think about how many people earn money, and not saying that like selling a Coke is, but it's not the healthiest thing in the
Right,
world, right?
right.
You make a lot of money
Right,
doing that, and you
right.
can live a great lifestyle, but it might not be the healthiest. And like,
Right.
there's probably this little bit of thing every time you put $1 in your pocket of like, am I killing people? Like, I don't know. Like,
what's happening
You know,
here?
like subconsciously, maybe even the marketing has gotten you enough where you're like, no,
Yes.
I'm selling joy. I am. This
Yes.
is so, somebody's so happy, but they are putting something in their body that's killing them,
Yeah.
right? Like, when you go to the gym, like this
Yeah.
is helping you live longer.
Yeah.
Like this is a good thing, and
Yes.
you're paying me
Yes.
for. So I've always found, and again, right, sports cards, it brings you joy,
Yes.
right? Now, again, there's a healthy dose of it, and
Yep.
but I've never pushed that side of things. It's like, hey, this is about having fun and doing things
Yep.
that bring you joy.
Mm-hmm.
And when you walk out that door, that's literally what my thing is. I want you to walk out and have a positive experience where
Yes.
you want to come back
Yes.
and spend your time with me. So,
I think that's something interesting. And when I was talking about, you know, girl bossing too close to the sun, and then that next generation that like is like not doing that, I think something we did is like we found every hobby, and like this makes sense. Like this is a business. This is what something that people want. But like we tried to turn every hobby into a business. Every single one. We were like, how can we make money? How can we
Yes.
make money? And it just was like so much, and it pushed those limits. It became less about the hobby and why you did it in the beginning and why it was fun and why it brought you joy,
wow.
and more about like making the money.
and followers and the brand.
So it's
and,
great
like,
that you
looking
can do
cool.
this
Yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
then you know that you have not pushed those limits of taking it past the point of
Yeah.
no return, you know?
Yep.
And like so many people
That's
did that.
interesting,
And
yeah.
I think that next generation is learning, they're seeing that, and they're like, okay,
You're absolutely right.
I don't have to do that. I can
Right.
keep some of my stuff, I can keep it for me.
Yes.
You know?
That is absolutely true. That's interesting. It's almost like we overcorrected
We
our
did.
parents' generation. And now the next generation's like, we're not doing
Okay, guys.
You guys have some real
Let's
mental
reel
health
it in.
issues.
Let's reel it in, you know?
You're passing your mental health issues to us.
We
So we
created
don't
a
wanna-
whole new
Exactly.
just box of mental health issues, and we were like, all right, sort this out.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, go have fun. Wow, that's so funny. No, that's interesting. It is. But I mean, it is awesome to hear that. But I think that's too of why your energy and why people, right? Like why people want to ask you to do things and why you've said yes to so many things is because you have that natural energy and you do things for the right reasons,
Yeah.
right? It's altruism. It's
Yeah.
not selfish or ego. It's I feel good when other people are happy. That's a good thing. It's called altruism. Like that's a good problem to have, you know? So I again, right. And it's why I wanted to have you on this podcast, because I think you're doing great things in the community. And also I think there's so many people that see the world like you, but maybe don't take action because they have that first fear of like, I don't want to do so many crazy things. I don't want to try things. I
And
don't want to do
look,
whatever.
we all experience that. Like
Absolutely.
I definitely, experience that all the time. I think because I've worn so many hats and I have moved to so many different roles. I never have felt, I mean, ESPN, like I've been there a while and I've really found my place there, like helping them. And even though I'm not there full time anymore, like finding ways that I can still be a part of it because it's important to me. For so long, because I was moving around a lot, like I had a lot of imposter syndrome, like because I was like, am I not good enough to do these things? Like why am I not sticking with something? Am I just not, do people not want me? I don't know. There was just a lot that was going on in my head about it. And it's easy to fall into that and to not know where you belong when you're moving around a lot. Yep. And so like, that's just something that like, you know, I wish I could tell people like goes away as you get older, but you know, I'm turning 37 this year and I still, you know, deal with imposter syndrome all the time.
And even, you know, you want to hear something crazy? I work with an executive coach and I'm getting ready to, I just hired somebody who I am so convicted that is the right hire, that I'm so convicted that it almost created doubt, that I was like, what am I missing? Why am I so convicted to this? Yeah. It was like, I was almost so confident that it actually created like, doubt. Where I was like, like, you can't be this confident about something. Like, so what I'm saying is like, even there's an imposter syndrome when you feel like you have the right answer. It's like your brain will still do something interesting.
Absolutely. And like, and you know, I do that thing that a lot of people do, that self-deprecating thing where I'm like, oh, whatever, I'm not that great at it, or like I'm this or that or whatever. And I have I've tried in the last few years to really like get a handle on that, because like, why am I doing that? I'm not the best at everything, but I'm certainly good at some things. Yeah. And so I have to remember that. And like, whether it's, you know, in my notes app on my phone, like if something happened and someone complimented me in a real way that made me feel good, like keeping up with that and
that's awesome.
and not brushing it off. And I had a moment, I went to SEC Media Days this year, and they bring me to offsite produce. And so part of my job is I get them set up, you know, I get this set up for them, and then I'm behind the camera, and while they're on air, it's chaos. I don't know if you've ever been to SEC Media Days, but it's like there's coaches walking around, there's players walking around, there's other media members walking around, and you're meeting people, you're building relationships. You're like, hey, do you have 10 minutes at 10 a.m. to come on the show? Like that's all I was doing all day long. And I've been going with them for several years. And so like I've built relationships with a lot of the national media and the local media. Like I walk around the room and I talk to everybody and the coaches and the players and whatever. And so we were in a break between shows, and I was just like sitting, you know, and just like
decompressing.
Yes. For a moment, you know. And a guy walks up to me. He's like, "Hey, I just want to introduce myself. I'm so and so. I'm from ESPN Austin, and you know, this is our first year here. It's so exciting." He's like, "I just wanted to introduce myself because I feel like maybe you're important and you're somebody that people should know." And I was like, at first I was like, wait, what? I was like so confused. And he was like, everybody keeps walking up to you and talking to you, and you keep talking to everybody who walks by you say hello to, and you know. And so I just felt like maybe I should know you.
That's so great.
And I was like, I'm not important at all. But I told him what I do and who I was there with. And I told him, I was like, I've just been here for several years with them. And so I've met people. I said, but if there is any way I can help you, like, let me know if you need to connect with someone, because again, like that is what I feel passionate about. I was like, you know, let me know if you saw me talking to someone that you want to end with, let me know. And he walked away, and and then Matt Moscona comes back because his show was about to start, and I told him the story, and he was like, well, yeah. You know, and I was like, no, it was just like this thing. And he was like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Like,
you are that person. Like, it's okay.
He complimented you in like the best way, you know, like that's, those things are true.
Yeah.
You know, like know that about yourself. And I was like, yes, why do I do that?
Right.
Why do I say, oh, it was nothing? It was because I am good at that.
Right.
And I should own that more, you know? And I don't know if it's, again, if it's a generational thing or if it's being a woman thing, you know, but we are taught to be humble.
Absolutely.
And to not take up so much space.
Right.
And so
it's not me, it's the team, it was everybody else.
So I'm trying to break out of that a little bit. But we all have moments like that, you know.
Absolutely.
So if someone is watching this and they feel those things, like that is totally normal. We are all experiencing that all the time, and then we're human, and then we work through it and we figure out what that next step is.
But also there's probably some merit to why everybody came up to you at that event was probably because of a little bit of the self-deprecating, because of the way you look, who you are, how you speak, all these things. And you're not arrogant. You're not carrying yourself because people expect you to, you're a tall, beautiful woman that can speak well, that knows everybody. And they expect you to be what? Yeah. Right. And then you're not. And they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I love her. She's awesome. Right. Like, but so yes, it's technically, you should be a little bit more like, yes, but you do know.
Well, there's also like,
know it.
There's also like a little part of me though, when I go to those events as a, you know, I'm not a sports expert. I'm not your X's and O's girl. Like, that's just not who I am. But I have always loved sports. Like, growing up, my dad, that's something we did. Like, I tell people this all the time. My parents were not Disney World people. They just weren't. My dad, one summer, instead of like going to Disney World, like all my friends, we went on an East Coast tour of minor league baseball. Which is
minor league baseball is crazy.
Actually, I love minor league games. I think they're great.
That's awesome.
I mean,
I'm sure because one summer your dad,
we were in tournament, Durham, we went all over. And so, of course, I'm sure in real time I was like, "What are we doing?" Right. The Asheville Sluggers, like, what am I? I could be
That's
Disney World.
Crazy.
But we did that, and now as an adult, I'm like, "What a cool experience!"
Right.
But that's I've always grown up around sports, and so now I go to SEC Media Days, and like, you know, it's the coaches and the players, and I'm like still a little starstruck. Like, I just am. I don't think I'm ever gonna reach a point where I wouldn't be a little bit, you know. And I see these national media members. A lot of them are ex-athletes, and like, you know, like I'm hanging out with like. I had this moment, and this was probably my favorite moment from SEC Media Days, as I was standing there, and the guys, T-Bob and Jake, they're on air, and I think Billy Lucci from Texas Ags is supposed to be coming on, and I can't find him. He loves to talk to everyone, and so I'm like looking around for him. I can't find him, and Roman Harper walks up, who, like, I know at this point, like, we're friends, but still, there's no part of me that sees Roman Harper and is not a little bit like,
yeah, see, exactly.
You know, like, oh my gosh, are you serious? And so, like, I went and saw him. They did their training camp in Jackson, Mississippi after Katrina. Like, I went to watch that training camp. Like, I was there. Anyways, so he's just like this person for me. And he's standing there. I'm like, can't find Billy. And he's like, oh, you want me to go do that for you? Do you want me to go find it? And I'm like, dude, is Roman Harper running errands for me? Like, is he?
Yeah.
Did I just give him a job? Yeah. Like, what happened? And for me, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's my moment, you know? But yeah, so that's I think really cool. I will say about myself, I think that's probably one reason why people are not intimidated by me or whatever, because I'm humble, but I'm also a little starstruck as well. You know, I'm still like, I'm excited to be here.
Exactly.
You know, I'm not jaded by it all.
Exactly. And that's what people enjoy. They enjoy that company and everything. So that's really cool, though, to hear that. And again, I think that's why people gravitate towards you and want to do that stuff. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. So what's going on for media stuff? What's your schedule the next couple weeks?
So I don't, so my two big events I do with them are Senior Bowl, which happens in February.
Okay.
And then SEC Media Days. Okay, and then in the middle, and then I guess there's the Super Bowl this year. So I don't know what the plan is for the Super Bowl, but there will be a plan, and there will be stuff because New Orleans, which is going to be so exciting. But in the meantime, when they're not contracting me out to do specific stuff, I still go up there, and I go on Fridays, the 9 o'clock hour for Off the Bench, and it's champagne shenanigans, and I bring champagne, and we don't talk about sports. I mean, it's amazing. They're like, I was like, I'm here for an hour. It's the last hour of your show. We're going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. I love that. That's amazing. And so it's great, and I've built relationships with those guys, obviously, and the listeners, because you know, those are my people too.
They tune in for you. Yeah,
I mean, like, they're my people, and I get to get in the chat with them and hang out. So,
well, that's what I was just gonna say. I was gonna say, make sure you tell people that are listening here, because I guarantee you're probably gonna have some people that come from here and want to listen to you on the show.
Well, people will probably. I mean, you're a little celeb up there too. You know, like you spend your time up there some.
Well, I've had some time up there. It's been fun. I always enjoy when I go up when I get a chance to go up there.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah. What about all right, so talk to me about where you work out in town, where you do instructions, where people, if they want to go to a class,
Yes,
something like that.
I work out and I work at Evolve Studio, which is in Willow Grove.
Yes.
It's above Bistro Byron's. People are like, where is that? I see the sign and I don't know. It is hidden. We're like a speakeasy gym. You have to, it's like part of the initiation.
Yes,
so you have to
go
actually
the
find
back
us.
side door in the
yes,
back.
the backside door. But I teach pretty much everything right now. I teach reformer Pilates. I teach mat Pilates. I teach heated strength classes, which is actually my favorite. So it's an 85-degree kettlebell dumbbell only work. And so I
at
like
Evolve?
it.
Nice.
And I like it because I teach predominantly to women. I mean, there's some men who come, but it's a lot of women. And women right now are going through this reframe of like what their bodies are supposed to or should look like. And for so long we were taught to be skinny and to count calories and to like, we didn't want to bulk up, and so now women are like, wait a minute. Yeah. I want to be strong. Yeah. I want to feel good. Yep. And so they're loving this class. And for me, it's having to retrain them. Like we do low rep, high weight. And for them, they're like, high weight. Yeah. What's that mean?
I'm going to get big.
I know. And I'm like,
my arms are going to get big.
I know that there are, fitness competitors who work so hard to bulk up. Like you're not
it's
not
gonna, I promise you.
Like people have to work
you do 8
really
reps,
hard.
you're not gonna get biceps.
Fine,
I promise. Just because you're a little sore tomorrow does not mean that your arms are enormous.
Reframe.
Yeah,
but exactly, I've been getting women into this class. So you're in this 85-degree room, so you're warmer, faster, but then we're focusing on that low rep, high weight, and it's one of my favorite classes to teach.
Yeah, it sounds like
and we do some cardio stuff, and like I said, I do community classes, and so all the Fridays in October, I have done Sunrise Pilates in the courtyard at Willow Grove. And that's been really fun because I enjoy teaching to the community. But
that's really cool.
But then I work out all over town. That's something that's always been important to me. Yeah. Especially as a fitness instructor, is like supporting other fitness instructors and supporting other gyms. Like I work out at F45. Yeah. I love F45. Yeah. I go to Tone. I go. I guess now it's Elevate, but there's some Legree studios in town. Like I just think rising tide lifts all boats. We are all promoting the same thing.
That's what I mean. We all want a healthy lifestyle. We're all here doing the same stuff.
Yes.
Like I used to go to all different classes, and I encourage people to come to ours all the time.
Yes,
too.
Yes. And everybody offers a little something different. And between instructors, like you're gonna get a different instructor vibe. Like I know I'm not for everybody, 100%, but I'm for some people. Right. And then we have other instructors that are gonna be for people. And so I always promote other studios. I love it. I think in Baton Rouge we've cultivated a pretty cool fitness world,
No, I think so too. I think we have a lot of boutique like little gyms, and I've enjoyed just getting to know that world, and I think it's really evolved over the last 5 years too, which is really fun for me, right? Because that was a big opportunity again with F45. It was like I felt like I had an opportunity to educate people on stuff they didn't know too much about, and bring something new to this.
Yes, and I think part of it is, and you may see some of this, is like you get these clients, they come in and you get to educate them. You teach them how to move their body safely. And then, you hope that they stay a client, but then they still are able to go out into the world. And like, if they just want to join a gym where like they can lift weights on their own, or they can do workouts on their own, they have the ability and the knowledge to do that safely. And so it's like,
dude, you're equipping them for life. You're giving them skills and then, like I said, one of the things that you said too is the mental aspect of it, the mindset, the training, just the mental health side of connecting the physical stuff of like, and just even opening up your mind to you didn't think it was possible for your body to change. Absolutely. You didn't think you could do this. Now, what else can you apply?
Or it's just like giving yourself that time to like slow down and focus on something. Like I work with a lot of moms, and like the hour that they spend with me is like the hour that they get to not be a mom, to not be checking their text messages, to not be on their phone, to not be thinking about the next thing they need to do. And I try to remind people of that. Like when we're in the room in real time, like, where's your head at? Like,
it's a huge escape.
It's okay. It's like our mind's going to wander. We're human. But like when you notice it doing the thing, like just pull it back into what you're doing. Like be here with yourself right now. And I find that that helps calm people's nervous system. And our nervous systems are like,
you're literally teaching them meditate. That is meditation.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what to me, I even use workouts as my meditation. We talk about how it's a staple in your life. Yeah. very rarely does a day go by that I don't do some sort of physical activity,
Yeah.
even if it's literally movement, just to be like, I need to go foam roll, I need to go stretch, I need to just move a little bit just to get something going to feel like.
If you're, I mean, look, I get it. Like, I get into funks where I'm like, I just want to be on my couch or in my bed or like whatever. But I guarantee you, if you get up and you just walk around the block, like go outside, be outside, walk around the block, walk down your driveway, walk back, you will feel 5% better. You know, like you're gonna just move.
Night and day. Yep.
Yeah. Wait, you did a thing one time. I don't think I've talked to you about this. I saw the pictures or the videos. You worked out for the full workout with water in your mouth. Is that? Am I making that up?
Oh, I did it.
How was that? That seemed hard.
It was, and it was, but it was.
It can be a lot of mental. It's like
it was, and that's, but again, it was almost reframing, right, every single time. And then it's interesting because the first 10 minutes were really hard, and then after that, it was actually easy. It was easy.
It's like
because,
a cold plunge.
Yeah,
and it's like the first few minutes are hard.
Yep, you just start getting used to it, and then you get into a rhythm, right, and you start breathing. And you actually, I forgot the water was in my mouth, and forgot that my mouth was closed. I was like, oh, I forgot actually.
Yeah, but your nervous system was so happy.
Absolutely, and think about how accomplished I felt after. I felt like you're right. You had that
like,
little chip in
it.
your, yeah.
Well, that's why I got into half marathon running for a little while. There was a period in my life. I am not a runner. But it was that. It was that accomplishment. It was that like no one thought I could do it. Like, and I started telling my friends I was running. They were like,
yeah, okay.
What are you?
We'll see how long.
I was like,
lasts.
okay, well now I'm gonna run 5 half marathons in a row. You know, it's that sense of accomplishment. It's that like you can do this thing.
And there's something to setting your mind to something that most people think are crazy or different or innovative, and then being able to pull that off, right? Yeah, and just going to do that. So
and maybe it's not your thing. Half marathon running was not my thing. I did it, and I was like, and I did it, and now I know. And
to me, that's one of the most powerful things. Is honestly, maybe the only reason you weren't a good runner was because you kept telling yourself, I'm not a runner. I don't run. That's not what I do.
Oh my gosh. I tell people that all the time in our studio. Like, you know, they come in and we're doing these treadmill-based cardio classes and they're like, oh, but I'm not a runner. I'm like, but you are. Like, you are currently running right now.
Yeah, actually.
And that is all it takes to be a runner.
Yeah. And we go back to the reframing, right? And all of that. It's like, if you constantly tell yourself something, obviously your body is going to listen to it, right? Yeah. Like, so what if, the same way you started telling yourself you weren't a runner, what if you said, I'm the best runner? And you just kept saying that. And you just kept saying it. And you just kept saying it. Yeah, I'm going to get better. I'm a great runner, actually. Like, and you just start doing that. And it does sound crazy, but it really actually works, right?
Absolutely.
And I know it works because I've done it with so many things that I've done in my life, right? Yeah. And I think we all have different versions. And it doesn't have to be physical. It's like anything. I decided I wanted to blog and write about craft cocktails for 225. And I was like, well, that's what I'm going to do. Exactly. I'm going to figure it out. You know? Literally anything we've done in life has been that. Yeah. It's just certain things were easier to get into or had been done before, so there'd been a path, right? Sometimes you just do things that don't have a path. That's all. So yeah. Lila's coming to tell us that our time is
hello.
up. Yeah.
She's like, hey, Dad.
Well, Rivers, this was amazing. I know you have a billion things going on in life.
Thanks for having me. This was great. This was awesome. You know what? Being behind the mic, not so bad.
See?
Not so bad.
We get comfortable being uncomfortable. Let's go. It was not bad, yeah. What about social media? Where does everybody follow you? I am at Ribs Hughey on Instagram and Twitter. I am the definition of that like meme that's like all the different people on your different platforms. You know, like I talk about sports a lot on Twitter and I do a lot of fitness stuff on Instagram. So that is where you find me. But like I said, got a lot of hats on. Seems like a PR move, right? To be like, hey, if you want fitness stuff, go here. I didn't mean for it to happen that way. But people don't care about sports as much on Instagram, so I find that I do a lot more of that on Twitter. And Twitter is like 85% sports. It is. And so I love it. It's great. There's a lot of people who don't like Twitter, but it's mostly people who that's not their thing. Exactly. So, yeah. There's a platform for everybody. Yeah, there is. All right. Well, thank you. This was awesome. Yes. It was amazing to catch up. Keep doing amazing stuff for the community. Keep just being you because, again, right, I think when I always tell people, you're not going to be perfect in everything that you do. Not saying that you're not perfect. I'm just saying but fall in love with the process. And it seems like, you've found that version for you. And I'm happy that you're going to start selectively. You've obviously found that for yourself as well. So I'm excited to see this place. It's incredible. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate your time. So thank you. Thank you. Yep.